Hi fans of high quality entertainment. Once again, I bet you don't own any of these albums. It's a series I've done quite a few videos on, and this is just, once again, not to be taken too seriously. I'm sure you have some of these albums in your collection, but it's, you know, a fun way to talk about kind of lesser known albums overall. And so I think I have 19 or 20 albums here. So when I go through these, it'd be interesting, let me know, you know, how many of them you have in your collection, like 5, 6, 0. And just before I start, I wanted to just read a couple of comments from my the 50 best rock albums ever reaction. I was just reacting to this website. And I got a couple of, you know, negative comments. So one here: your taste in rock music is terrible. Thank you. Your comment regarding the Wall album was very disrespectful. There is no rock without Pink Floyd, period. I love Pink Floyd, and in the video, I didn't say anything negative about The Wall. I just said it wasn't one of my favorite Pink Floyd albums. I still like the album. But you see how easily music fans can be hurt. And then this other one, another viewer: you don't like heavy metal, so you and this was because, you know, I'm not a big fan of Judas Priest or Iron Maiden, those kind of bands, but I respect them, and Metallica. You don't like heavy metal. I'm wearing my Black Sabbath t-shirt, just letting you know. So you shouldn't have an opinion on this genre. Can't respect your, well, he spells opinion O-P-I-O-N. Can't respect your opinion on music. It's too narrow. And then he has it's too narrow with T-O instead of T-O-O. It's kind of viewers I'm dealing with. But thankfully, 99.2% of you are great. So here we go. And seriously, my favorite thing about doing this series is sometimes a viewer won't know there's a certain album that's out there. So here we go. You might be a Black Sabbath fan, but do you have past lives? It's actually, it's an okay live album, but what I was listening recently to their reunion from, I guess, the 90s, and that's the album. I think that's an awesome live album, so I definitely want to get that at some point. But, you know, this is still good, but kind of rough quality too, some of it. I'm really getting into Electric Light Orchestra lately, and I'm going to be doing a discography review on Phil Aston's Now Spinning Magazine YouTube channel at the end of this month, so please subscribe to him. And I've also been, these were gifted to me by my friend Pow, I've also been getting into The Move. Do you have this album? Let me know. Yeah, I've also got Message from the Country, which is excellent. And Jeff Lynne's first band, The Idle Race, I've never heard them, so maybe I should check them out too. Now, most of you will not have this in your collection on vinyl or CD, but I am a fan of this artist. Yoko Ono, Walking on Thin Ice. Just a collection of her songs from her excellent albums. And they're, you know, they're all song-based. She's not screaming or anything. It's not experimental. It's good music to me. Speaking of Electric Light Orchestra, yeah, I only know maybe 1/3 of ELO's discography really good, But because we're doing this series at the end of the month, I've got the yellow box set, which was gifted to me. Thank you. I've been really getting impressed with other albums I wasn't familiar with. Do you have the Electric Light Orchestra? No answer. It is so good. And as I always say, I've done a few of these videos, so I might repeat myself once or twice because, you know, it's hard to remember what I've shown or not shown. But I do know I've not shown this one by the Beach Boys. You're going to be jealous if you're a Beach Boys fan and you don't have this in your collection. Still Cruising. You thought Pet Sounds was good. I actually haven't even played this. But, you know, Kokomo is that's a catchy song. I don't mind that. And then they've got Beach Boys hits on this too, which is kind of strange. I Get Around, Wouldn't It Be Nice, and California Girls. And those are great songs, so it's not a totally bad album. And I have heard somewhere near Japan on my Patreon, and that was a very good track. Now on the YouTube channel Grant's Rock Warehouse, we're doing a discography review of Captain Beefheart's, all of his albums. And we just did Trope Mask Replica and Lick My Decals Off Baby. I think I might have shown this in another video, but just curious anyway, if you're a Captain Beefheart fan, if you have this and what you think of it, because I now think it's really good. Blue Jeans and Moonbeams. And we'll be discussing this album and one other, Clear Spot I think it is, on Grant's Rock Warehouse's YouTube channel. We're going through all of Captain Beefheart's discography, so please subscribe to Grant's channel. I'm a huge Blue Oyster Cult fan. And I'm wondering if you have this album, one of their later ones. Curse of the Hidden Mirror. I've only played this probably 2 times, and the second time it was for reviewing all of Blue Oyster Cult's albums, and it was actually, I enjoyed it, but I need to listen to it more. I really like that album cover too. Do you have this album? Now this album is a little different because there's 40 songs and every song is exactly 1 minute long. Do you know what album that is? That's right, the Residents commercial album. Let me know if you have this in your collection. Huge Lou Reed fan, I have all of his albums, but this is not one of my favorites. So I'm wondering what you think of it if you have it in your collection. Lou Reed, The Raven. And on my other YouTube channel, Canadian Studmuffin, I'm doing a CD exchange with my friend Glenn Kellaway from the basement. And we're doing our next one. I think it's going to be just in a few, probably on Monday. Today is Wednesday, so in a few days. And he saw this in my collection and he's never heard it. He didn't know it. I don't think he knew it existed, this particular album. So let me know if you have The Doors in concert, which is, I think it's the live album It's Alive and Absolutely Live combined. So, and it is excellent. Let me know if you have this in your collection. Steve Earle. This is his tribute to Townes Van Zandt, the great songwriter. As you can tell, I'm a huge Sparks fan. And, I get asked quite often, where should I start with Sparks, to check them out. And if you want to buy, like a CD or a vinyl record, I would suggest past tense, which is basically their whole, it goes back to Computer Girl from I think 1967. And so that's 3 CDs. And a great way to start your Sparks collection. Okay, so these 2 double CDs are kind of, they're great, but they're kind of stupid too, the way they were done. And in one of my other videos I showed Key Studio, which was all of the studio tracks from these 2 double albums, Keys to Ascension and Keys to Ascension 2, which is a combination of great live material and then new at the time, new studio tracks. Yeah, so for the first one, Keys to Ascension, disc 1 is all live, then disc 2 is partially live, and then they tack on 2 studio tracks at the end. One's almost 10 minutes long, and the other one is 19 minutes long. And then Keys to Ascension 2, disc 1 is all live, and disc 2 is all the studio tracks. But still, they should separate, you know, just the way they did that was stupid. I'm a huge Frank Zappa fan. And I even love the Flo and Eddie period from the early 70s. So I'm wondering if you have Playground Psychotics. And this one has, I think, a really, really long version of Billy the Mountain. Yeah, it's over 30 minutes. And I think even that was edited down from maybe a 40-minute live version. But it's great. Huge fan of Grand Funk Railroad, my all-time favorite, or maybe it isn't now, but it's still right near the top. Grand Funk Live album, one of the best live albums ever. But do you have Grand Funk Railroad live, the 1971 tour? It's not as good, but it's still, you know, very, very good. And I'm showing this one just in case, because I think when I talked about this album before, there was a couple of viewers that didn't even know that it existed. And this was kind of recently. So let me know if you have Creedence Clearwater Revival live at Woodstock. Awesome live. All right, next, the debut album by Colosseum. Do you have Those Who Are About to Die? Salute you. Very good album. Although my favorite that I've heard is Valentine's Suite. 2 more. Peace and Love, Peace and Love. Big fan of this band, which I discovered, I had heard about for years and years, but just got into them in the past year or so. And this is their debut album, although the album after it is considered their debut because this wasn't released right away. It was kind of kept hidden for a while, I guess. It is Can Delay, 1968. It's a pretty good album. I enjoy it. And this one I've shown before, and just, you know, letting you know again that Glenn Kellaway from the Basement, I'm going to give him this CD in our next CD exchange on my Canadian Studmuffin channel in a few days, so please subscribe. And, you know, I only played it once when I was doing a Genesis discography review. I just thought it was okay. Not that it was bad, but there's been some good reviews on this from my viewers. So I'm going to be giving it to Glenn to see what he thinks. Genesis. He had no idea about is. That's how much of a big fan that Glenn is of Genesis. No, he is a big fan, but he wasn't aware of this album, because back in the day he wasn't that big of a fan. And that is it. All right, I'm off to listen to some heavy metal music, man. Have a great day. Bye. And Pink Floyd's The Wall.